So after you have your foam prepped into a rough cylinder, it's time to set up the lathe. So on the lathe you've got a couple of main elements. You've got the chuck, you've got the headstock, which moves, and you've got the tool rest. So these are all going to have to be set each time you use the lathe, and obviously will change depending on the size and the shape of what you want to turn. There is a size limitation to what you can turn, and this is measured from the centre of the chuck to the highest point. So if you're turning something long, the highest point is going to be the tool rest or the bed, or if it's a thin disc, it's going to be 10 mil above this base here. But again, always consult the workshop guys before you use the lathe. So in mounting your foam, the shape again determines how you're going to mount it. So if you have something like this where it's longer, where it's a bit longer and smaller diameter, you're going to use this piece, and that's going to go straight onto the piece of ply that you've double-sided taped to the end. If you have something that is a larger diameter but it's thinner, you're then going to use this faceplate. So if you do want to do this, again, check with the workshop guys. In this video, we're just going to cover this piece. So now it's time to mount the foam to the lathe. So the first step is to make sure the tool rest is out of the way. The hole that's in the centre of the ply, that's going to go on the spike. And then making sure that the headstock is unlocked, so that means it can slide. You're going to bring it up just so it touches. Using this lever on the back, you're going to lock it, and that's going to mean it won't slide anymore. And using this, you're just going to tighten it so it presses into those pieces that you put on the end. So after you've done that, the last step is to turn this black lever again to the right, and that's just going to lock it off so this can't move. So now it's all secured, this can spin, and that's your work mounted to the lathe. So the next step is to set the tool rest. So the tool rest, as the name suggests, is for your tool. So these are the kind of tools that you use on the lathe. For foam, you want anyone where it's a rounded edge so it doesn't catch. And we're going to adjust the tool rest so that the cutting edge is directly on centre. So to do that, you've got this adjustment and you've got this adjustment. So this is for this bar. So you shift it in and you want it nice and close to the workpiece. So less than 20 mils, but obviously not touching. This ensures that your tool doesn't flick up while you're turning. So once you've got that about right, you can lock that off. And then you're going to bring this up. And if you get on eye level, you want the edge of your tool rest just below the centre of the headstock. So that means when you put your tool on the tool rest, the cutting edge is going to be on the centre of the workpiece. So when you have it on centre and nice and close to your workpiece, you're going to tighten that one up. And then you just want to spin it by hand to make sure that it doesn't hit. Otherwise, when you turn on the lathe and this hits the tool rest, it's going to tear a hole in your foam.